Unexpectedly, you or a loved one is diagnosed with cancer. The treatment is chemotherapy. This story is mine, but it could be yours. This is a story about finishing treatment in record time and living to tell my story. The thought of having cancer is mind-numbing. Hearing the diagnosis, your first thought is, I don't have long to live. Parents, your family, your friends are stunned. They don't know what to do. Everything you know and have heard about cancer is negative. If you're lucky, they figure out how to help and possibly save you. Even though your doctor told you, don't get overwhelmed. You want to ask the doctor everything you think is possible, but how are you to know what to ask? You've never had this diagnosis before. You get home, start scouring the internet looking for clues. Your mind races with questions such as, what do we expect? Will I live? If I live, will I have kids? My first diagnosis was mid-1990s. There's no internet. We only relied on books and word of mouth.
Could I ask you a question?
Yes, of course.
So the question is, when you ask the doctor like racing, you're saying everything's fine and you're talking a bunch of stuff at what will happen, what questions were you gonna ask the doctor?
Well, my main concern was, will I be gonna live, or what percentage of chance do I have to live?
That would be good questions.
Will I keep my hair?
Yeah, I would not. You could buy a wig.
I didn't buy a wig, I bought a hat, but I'll definitely get into that in just a second. Today, you start scouring the internet looking for clues, asking the doctor every little thing. What extra could we do? What do we expect? Will you live? Kind of just like I answered with you, Lachlan. It's the same thing. For me, it all started the summer of 1996. I'm at a baseball camp staying with my uncle. This was a typical high school summer, multiple baseball camps, hanging out with friends, enjoying the summer. There was never a sign that I had underlying health issues my entire life. I got in trouble like every other teen kid. My friends and I hung out at the lake. We cruised the Tennessee mountains.
Cool.
The strip on the weekends, chasing girls.
Good one.
My biggest concern was getting a tan, not too many chores. While in Alabama, at a baseball camp, I started sleeping every moment that I wasn't practicing. I started noticing that I couldn't throw as fast. The ball definitely didn't have its normal zip. It was very odd. Under normal circumstances, I couldn't throw a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, but I could throw dang hard, as one coach used to call me Guns. I had every plan to play for the University of Auburn in Montgomery.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, could I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
What is the University of Auburn in Montgomery?
That's a place that my uncle used to work, and he knew the coaches, and I would go down to the baseball camp, and they were really good down there. They liked me, and I performed really well, and there was a chance I could play. But we'll definitely get into that in just a second.
That is cool.
Once I returned home from camp on Sunday, I started sleeping 23 hours a day. My parents checked me into the emergency room on Monday. The doctor wanted to admit me, but I vehemently said no. I didn't want to stay at the hospital because nothing was wrong. I was just fine. Or that's what I told everyone. I was able to convince my dad, but I was finally admitted because the symptoms were too much to handle, and my mom wasn't having it. They found lumps under my arm and on my chest. They started to treat me for pneumonia, and they literally pumped 4 whole liters of fluid out of my lungs. Each day that I went by, I became worse. My symptoms were not getting any better, and I deteriorated fast. I couldn't breathe, so on Friday they put me on oxygen and still slept every moment possible. I'm not sure if we found out later or during the week, but the doctor never ordered the fluid they pumped out of me to be tested. According to the nurse, this had to be done to find out what was wrong with me. We never heard anything after days of waiting. I couldn't understand, why didn't they test the fluid as I got worse, and worse? You could physically see my deterioration. Lumps were forming under my arms and on my chest. I slept 23 of 24 hours. It didn't make sense. No one could make it make sense to me. My mom and dad had had enough. The doctors weren't helping. While the hospital board of directors were conducting a routine meeting, my dad literally stormed into the board meeting demanding help. Imagine the looks on their faces, almost like a cinematic movie. My parents aren't the type to act irrationally, but I can imagine the feeling of those board members had when a mad, worried, and extremely PO'd father barged in on their Monday morning meeting. Later that day, my mom made sure that they transported me to Vanderbilt Hospital. On the way out to the ambulance, the doctor delivered a message to my mom as they finally tested the fluid. It was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, cancer. Later, we found out this type of cancer had 4 stages. At stage 4, the cancer is in my brain. It can't be cured. I went from stage 1 to 3 during that week. Why didn't they test it? Why didn't the people in charge demand it to be tested? Why would anyone allow such an egregious act to occur? I didn't understand. Why wouldn't they do that? Even the most skilled professionals can make mistakes, obviously.
A study by Johns Hopkins University found that medical errors, including surgical mistakes, are the 3rd leading cause of death in the U.S., with an estimated 250,000 deaths per year. Even communication failures make up 30% of malpractice cases.
I investigated litigation for medical malpractice. I was going to sue them. My case had exceeded the 5-year statute of limitations window. I could do nothing. So yeah, Lachlan, I could have sued them, but I had waited 5 years after because they almost killed me. So they didn't test my fluid, so they should have been sued, but I couldn't do anything.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Once we come back.
No, you ask a question now.
So Dad, the question was how did it get so quick to 1 to 3 in a day?
It actually happened over a week. I started out at 1 at the baseball camp, and then as I checked in, I was at like 1 or 2, and then I stayed there for 3 or 4, I can't remember how many days, but it went from 1 to 3, and it's almost killed me. So it's not just 1 day, but good question. Now, if you are still watching this, my guess is that you have had cancer or know someone who has cancer, or you want to know how to get through it. Having a support network of family and friends is paramount. I have both parents, 2 sisters, and 3 of the greatest friends that anyone could ask for. My parents were the ones who found additional ways to help my immune system. You see, chemotherapy kills your fast-growing cells. This is why your hair falls out, your taste buds are always off, and your fingernails don't grow. It is killing your system in order to kill your cancer. Our local town is lucky enough to have a health food store, which has supplements, vitamins, and other health food items. The owner, Mr. Frank Melee, will make suggestions to fight negative effects of chemotherapy to improve my immune system. We will forever be grateful for his suggestion for immune-boosting supplements. My mom and dad tirelessly searched for ways to assist with my treatment, even when it seemed hopeless. While my friends didn't directly assist with my treatment, they played a crucial role in supporting my mental health while at home. Imagine losing so much weight your fingers could touch when grabbing around your entire arm. So you can do this, but I couldn't do this right here because I'd lost so much weight. It was very sad.
You're like losing like 10 liters or 5, 6.
I lost a lot. Now during this time, I was pale white. My cheeks were swollen from the antibiotics and steroids. There was a catheter embedded in my chest for a direct line of medicine. During one visit, while the medicine ball was attached to this catheter, my friends Tony, Jeremy, and Michael picked me up to cruise.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I put on my hat. to cover my bald head and tape around my catheter, my medicine ball in my pocket, and I went off. I mean, can you imagine looking deathly ill? Your family always appears scared around you, not knowing whether you will live or die, but having 3 extremely good friends include you in everything you do. I mean, it was amazing. I couldn't ask for a better support or friendship. They will remain my best friends for the rest of my life. Now, while medicine, the right diet, and immune-boosting supplements suggested by Frank Maile helped me physically, my friends provided crucial support for my mental well-being. They made me feel normal. Their unwavering friendship helped me endure the toughest moments of my journey. But I digress. As I rolled from a wheelchair into Vanderbilt Hospital, a wave of relief washed over me. The busy corridors were filled with a diverse team of medical professionals, each bringing their unique approach to the table. It was a refreshing change from the monotony of my previous hospital experience. Vanderbilt, being a university hospital, had a vibrant atmosphere, with doctors accompanied by eager medical students ready to learn and innovate. One of the most striking features was the dedicated children's floor, where laughter and play echoed through the halls. I'll never forget the moment I stumbled upon the game section, where I happily immersed myself in a world of fun, momentarily forgetting about the weight of my circumstances by having a wheelchair race in the hallway. My mom, my unwavering wingman, stood by my side, offering support and comfort even when I pushed her away. She was a source of strength in my darkest moment. She made the right decision by staying and not listening to me because I was being weird. Amidst the games and the laughter, there was also sobering reminders of the harsh reality of cancer treatment. I met a young boy who had lost his leg due to radiation and chemotherapy. His mischievous spirit shone through as he played tricks on unsuspecting visitors, with his prosthetic leg adding an unsuspected twist to his antics. He would sit on the bed, and since he had a prosthetic leg, he would sit on the bed with his prosthetic leg because it was fake after his kneecap, and he would turn it around, and people didn't know that was a prosthetic leg, and they would walk in mortified, and he would just laugh. He got me, everybody started laughing. I mean, he really had the best mindset. He had a worse cancer than mine, which he had a 30% chance to live, where I had a 70% chance to live. So his mentality, his positive mentality was so much better than mine, and he had a less chance to live. So I looked up to him. Despite the challenges he faced, his resilience was awe-inspiring. As I mingled with other patients who had recently completed their treatment, a sense of camaraderie was everywhere. The hospital administration arranged for them to share their stories, offering hope and encouragement to those still during their battle. I'll never forget the look of disbelief on my mother's face when she realized that I too had triumphed over cancer. It was a moment of connection and solidarity that was unmatched. Now, even with this change from Cookeville General to Vanderbilt, it was a terrifying experience. Everything I heard about cancer was a death sentence. The thing about chemotherapy is that the doctors will estimate your treatment with the possibility of having bad reactions to chemo occurring after each treatment. It goes like this. You receive the treatment for a continuous amount of days in the hospital. It could be a consecutive 2 or 10 days. They send you home if you're receiving the treatment well. Once your immune system has time to recover, you're back at one again with another treatment. It was not until my second round of chemo that I had my very first bad reaction. The setback was truly a bad one. There were sores almost as long as half my thumb on the side of my tongue. My red blood cell count was extremely low. This means you can't fight infections. I checked back into the hospital early due to my immune system being extremely weak. I almost had to have a transfusion, but this complicated things because my O negative blood. It isn't common. O negative is a universal donor, meaning any other blood type can receive transfusions from O negative, but O negative blood can only receive transfusions from O negative blood.
What is an universal donor?
What is a universal donor? So I have O negative blood. There might be A, B, I can't remember all the types of blood types, but they can all receive my blood. It's O negative. They can either receive their type blood, type A or whatever, we'll assume it's type A. They can receive type A and they can receive type O negative, mine. Sad thing for me is I can't receive anybody else's blood. I can only receive O negative. So I'm a universal donor. Everybody can get my blood.
But you can't take someone else's.
I can only take O negative,
Then
right?
what does donor mean?
When you're donating your blood to someone, so someone will come in and give their blood to you because I needed healthy blood cells to fight the infection.
Oh, so that's why. That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Luckily, my Uncle Mike McCardle and Janie, my sister, were willing to donate as they both had O negative blood type. I don't remember much during this time. I remember being so scared that I tried to pretend it wasn't happening. I had a fleet of doctors and nurses taking care of me around the clock. While nurses and doctors are trained in bedside manner, which is not showing how bad it really is, their faces were completely scared. I remember this most of all. As we waited for my immune system to recover, it was the most frightening time that I can remember. I cannot imagine the thoughts going through my parents' minds. This was the second time that something almost killed me during my treatment. The first was a hospital not testing my blood. It was a scary time. This was the second. The third was when a nurse forgot to connect my lines correctly and I bled all over my bed. You see, I received medicine directly from a catheter, as we just discussed. This is a direct line to my veins. The catheter is woven into my chest. This one actually was infected and they had to do it again. It's a direct line so they can receive medicine. Now, after this bad reaction and my recovery, my parents started looking for ways to combat these bad reactions and increase my immune system. Earlier, I mentioned Mr. Mele's health food store, Good Shepherd. Mr. Mele suggested colloidal minerals, liquid life, multivitamin, and chlorophyll. We didn't know at the time that not all supplements are the same. You see, the absorption rate is very important. There are supplements and vitamins out there that your body only absorbs or uses 5%. Mr. Mele's had the highest possible absorption rate. I want to be clear that you should listen to your doctor. These supplements are not a substitute for chemotherapy. They are to be taken in complement. These greatly help me keep my immune system become strong. So what do you think so far, Lachlan?
I think next is you're probably just like, something's gonna like make it feel better. Like you're gonna, like, Mr. Mele thing's gonna help and then you're gonna make it better.
Well, you're right. You're right. Here we go.
I did?
I almost completely stopped having bad reactions. You're right. You're right, Lachlan. In fact, I completed chemotherapy in record time. Record time, according to the people at Vanderbilt. The estimate for my diagnosis or for my treatment to be finished was 1 year to a year and a half. How long do you think it took, Lachlan, for me to go through treatment?
6 months.
I forgot I told him. He knows this story. I talk about it often. The cool thing is I finished before Christmas and my hair grew back and I had hair for Christmas.
Santa gave you a blessing. He gave you a real life wig.
It was a real life wig. But the weird thing was it grew back like a brand new baby hair and thicker. Which that was cool. That was cool. It was very slick and new hair.
Oh, it's kind of like when you get like those sticky stuff and it feels all cool.
Yeah, and I will say, here's a pro tip for those about to have cancer treatment. I would suggest making sure you shave anywhere that has hair. The reason I say this is they did shave my head, but they didn't shave my legs. and the chemotherapy makes you itch. Well, I itched the back of my legs, and the only thing that didn't grow back was the hair I pulled from back of my legs. So all my hair grew back and fell out, but if you're gonna pull your hair, it didn't grow back. So there's a pro tip for you guys out there.
That actually, what if you don't want hair under your leg?
Well, then I guess you pull all your hair out.
What if you just shave it?
Well, it'll grow back.
So you have to pull it and you can't.
Well, I'm not suggesting any of that. I don't know, but that was just a pro tip.
Cool.
While I was on the tail end of treatment, Dreammakers, who is similar to Make-A-Wish Foundation, gave me a wish. My parents and I spoke about this. The first thing I thought was money or car. Quickly, I want money or car. But my parents said, well, do something that money can't buy. Well, I was crazy about baseball and a huge Astros fan. Jeff Bagwell was not only the best player at the time, the stories about his dedication to the team were legendary. I asked for batting lessons from the legend, and boom, they granted it.
It was like super sick. He even has this thing in the back.
This thing in the back? You mean this thing?
It's Jeff Bagwell thing.
Jeff Bagwell's bat.
It's so cool. He actually.
To John, all my best. Good luck. Good luck with baseball, Jeff Bagwell. Can you hold it? Of course.
Whoa. This is his actual thing. And if. Why is there like little smudges?
Because I didn't protect it and I was swinging it, which I shouldn't have swung it because I didn't know. But I also got I got to throw the very first pitch of the game, which is super cool. I've got the baseball that I threw. I've got a hat that he signed, and he signed the baseball as well. I had the jersey stolen. So Jeff Bagwell, if you hear this, just saying, reach out. If you want to replace it, that's cool. Don't, that's cool too. I appreciate the fact that you gave me the time around you. It was very awesome. My recovery is complete with no lapse. I was able to have my son, Lachlan. I hope that I was able to show you how important friends and family were. If you go by a Good Shepherd, please tell Frank Melee I said hi. Thanks for hanging out with us today and listening to my story. I know people say this a lot and all the time, but leave a like and share as it helps to grow the channel. And then maybe one day, I don't know, we'll get popular and I'll start making money. I can quit my job and we can just make YouTube videos.
And these are all the YouTube. They always have a song video. I don't know why.
They have a song?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like everyone, all the people, they all have a song, so one day we can make a song.
Well, I will put a song that sounds really cool.
We have our own beat maker.
We're a beat maker?
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
Have a good day. Bye.